Hey guys, it's Zach, and I don't know if you remember me, but I used to YouTube. Then I went away for a long time. We had a pandemic, and it's still kind of going on, but I wanted to do a Q&A to get reacquainted with all of you, and I asked you guys for questions, and you responded with questions, and now I'm gonna answer them. Thank you for sticking around, and hopefully this was worth the year wait or however long it's been since I've released a video. Our first question is from the Ghost's Soul. How have you been during the pandemic? Been able to keep happy and healthy? My pandemic, all things considered, with what's going on, has been relatively uneventful. I've been with my family in Buffalo, New York since March of 2020. We've played Yahtzee pretty much every day for a year and a half. No one got COVID, so in that respect, we're healthy. In another respect, I've had milkshakes every day since the pandemic started, so my arteries are not the healthiest, but I feel pretty good. I feel great, actually. This next question comes from Scratch Adams. Are you still in contact with Oprah? No. I don't know who ghosted who, but we're not, chatting. I would love to catch up with Oprah, but I think she's busy. Casper Chekhov asks, if you could meet anyone from the past or present, who would you meet and why? Maya Angelou. During the pandemic, I was able to read all of her autobiographies, and it was just the best read of my life. I knew she was an interesting person. I had no idea that she was such a badass. Like, you know how on The Crown, that show about the royals, they never make an interesting choice because they always have to think about duty and what it means to be the queen or whatever. Maya Angelou always makes the interesting choice. If I had known some of the things that Maya Angelou had done when I had talked to Oprah for those 20 minutes, I would have just asked Oprah questions about Maya Angelou. Everybody should check out the collected autobiographies of Maya Angelou, because she is so freaking interesting. The next question comes from Bianca Nieves Art. I don't think art is part of her name. It may be what she does. Like if I put Zach Yanner milkshake enthusiast. Her question is, do you have a morning routine to get started on your day? Yes, I do. And that actually brings up something interesting. A while back, I filmed a Workout Wednesday that was all about my morning routine and how I get dressed independently and stuff. And for some reason, we didn't release it. But because you asked that question, I think we should release it now. A new Workout Wednesday is coming just because Bianca asked that question. So, thanks. The next question comes from Charlene Easter. Happy Charlene Easter, everyone. How did the pandemic affect you, and what couldn't you do where your disability was concerned? Well, one of the reasons that I moved back to my teenage bedroom as a 36-year-old man is because I was living independently in LA, but independence for me means depending a lot on Ubers and meal delivery services and things like that I didn't know if they were going to be available or not. And really, my independence is a community effort, and I thought it would just be safer and better and probably less depressing if I was home with family, which was true. Now that things are opening up again, I'm kind of getting the itch to travel and live outside of my family home again. So hopefully that'll happen, but it has been a wonderful time with family. Rick Fine says, have you ever considered a segment about learning to juggle? You mean a segment about me dropping juggling balls continually while learning nothing? Yes, that sounds like fun. Josie Palmer asks, do you have a dating life? How important is it for you to have a wife of your own and children. I have a dating life, not so much to speak of over the pandemic. That's just Zoom meetings. In terms of like family and kids and stuff, I used to think it was really important, but I'm having a great time without that. So I don't know, maybe someday. Zach Frost asks, what's one thing you've learned about humanity in 2020? One thing that I've learned about humanity in 2020 is we need to take better care of each other or it all falls apart. I think we have seen some extraordinary things happen in 2020 in the face of such tragedy and turmoil. We have short attention spans as humans, and there are certain things that we need to continue to pay attention to. Climate change, social justice. We have to stay involved and engaged with them long after they leave the news cycle. We have to have empathy for people and the planet, even if it's not affecting us on a day-to-day basis, because it's affecting someone. Wendy Smith asks, have you gotten back to the Olive Garden yet? No, but when I do, it will be epic, and I will go with Chris Damaris, and I can't wait until the never-ending pasta pass is back, because that was the greatest, was it 7 weeks of my life? Yeah, I can't wait. So excited. Barbara Dawn Barrett asks, what are your thoughts on hot dogs being classified as tacos? That doesn't make any sense. I don't think that is the case. I also think that in our society, we often feel this pressure to classify things. Why does a hot dog have to be a taco or a taco have to be a hot dog? Why can't they just both be delicious? Yvonne Smith asks, how on earth do you keep your big smile and cheerful attitude all the time? This is an interesting question, and I'm going to push back a little on it because I don't. Part of the reason that I have been gone so long is I wondered what my place was in a world that was in chaos. As somebody who likes to be a bringer of joy and optimism, but didn't really feel those things a lot of the time in the past year. I didn't want to be disingenuous about it, and I also didn't want to just talk about things that I knew nothing about just because I felt I had to. What I have done during this hiatus is I've been reading a lot more, trying to learn different perspectives and deal with my own blind spots and privilege. I hope that I'm becoming a better person, but that's not really the point. The point is, what can I do that's actionable, that makes a difference in people's lives? Because I've been very, very fortunate. Yes, I've had my own struggles, but I should be able to use my platform in ways that are fun, optimistic, but also don't diminish the gravity of some of the things that are going on in the world and in this country. So I think there is always value in putting joy out into the world as long as it doesn't ignore suffering. Ed Fleece asks, what kind of jelly do you like with your peanut butter, strawberry or grape? Well, Ed, strawberry, because I am not a psychopath. The next question comes from Ruse Beatrice Wilson Desta. What a name! That's awesome! What's the best song to listen to when you're getting dressed? First of all, who's getting dressed in this era? Currently, and this is not just like a bit, I'm in my underwear now. But the best song, I think, is It's Getting Hot in Here, So Take Off All Your Clothes by Nelly. And every time you think about getting dressed, you're like, no, I should take off my pants. As long as we're, in our own homes, still, that's what we should all be doing. Pants is all I'm saying. Elena Putnam asks, would you rather battle 100 duck-sized horses or one duck-sized horse? This is a great question. I answered it in my first ever Reddit AMA. I hate ducks. I was bitten by a malevolent duck as a child. When I was just minding my own business in the park, a duck wandered up to me and I said, "It's gonna bite my toe." And my dad was like, "No, it isn't. Ducks don't do that." And it was like it hurt my dad, and it was like, "Hold my beer," or "Hold my stale bread." And then it bit my toe. I don't want to fight 100 duck-sized horses. I think they would be pleasant and fun. I think we would all have a great time. Next question is from Jessica Falzone Riemi. I'm butchering these names. What piece of advice would you have for a student with a disability who wants to be in the arts and in the spotlight? How can I, as a teacher, support the dream and guide them to success while still being realistic? Two things. Get them to fall in love with the work to achieve the dream. If they're as excited about, if they want to be an actor, if they're as excited about doing scene work and taking acting classes and, learning vocal control as they are about being famous, then they have a much better shot. The other thing that I would ask you is what's realistic? What I've been able to do with my career, and I've been lucky enough to do, like hosting my own travel show, meeting Oprah, writing for TV, getting a book deal, all this stuff. When I was younger, to most people, it seemed completely unrealistic. So I would never put that label on it. And I would just encourage your students to do the work and to find the joy in the work. Well, that's all the time I have for questions today, but remember to like, share, and subscribe, and I promise the next video will not be a year from now. I'm going to keep going back to that post and trying to answer as many of those questions as I can, because you guys asked some really great, insightful questions, and I really appreciate you sticking around. I hope this was as fun for you as it was for me. Bye!